How do you ensure that subcontractors are building according to the plans and specs? This was a question given to me by one of the viewers, one of the listeners to this channel, which I really appreciate, and I'm gonna answer it right now. And here's what we're gonna cover. The different ways that you can check in to make sure that they're building according to plans and specs. And then actually at the end, in case you don't have the right I don't want to say it like that. In case you don't have the full meeting system or the structure that I'm talking about, what can you do to actually do some checks? And here's why this is so important. If you're a PM super or an assistant in either of those roles, you really have a lot to do, and your drawing set might be this thick if printed, right? And so going through and knowing everything about the drawings, everything about the specs is really difficult. So where do you check in? That's what we're going to cover right now. All right, so I'm gonna cover some things that I typically go over in these videos, but this is very specific to this topic, so let's do this. Number one, you're going to have in a timeline, you're going to have a time where you do a pull plan with your trade partners. Now you're probably like, Jay Money, what does this have to do with installing per the plans and specs? Well, let me explain it to you. Not only in the pull plan do we break it out by zones, which is something that we have to start doing, and not only do we create a sequence backwards then forward or forward and then backwards to create pull, not only do we collaborate and find problems, right? And not only do we follow the rules of the pull plan, but here's another thing that we're doing. We're researching the drawings. So this is literally the first time where we're getting into some detail with the drawings. We're literally making sure that everything we're seeing on the drawings is coming up here as a tag or a sticky in the pull plan. And we can link it to you in the description below. Actually, I have a video called A Real Pull Plan. In that video, which is a real pull plan, there was no prep, it was real trade partners. We actually showed on the screen the different components from the drawing sets, and we were like, is that in there? We were doing the exterior, and it was like, are the downspouts in there, the door, the window, the cladding here, the flashing, and it was like, oh, there's a couple things that we're missing. So if you do a pull plan the right way, not only will the trades come prepared from reading the drawings and specs, but you and the pull plan can actually do a quick check to make sure that all of these components are here. Let's say you did this in the forward and in the reverse. If you go in the reverse and you literally make sure you have a sticky or a tag for every need or constraint or predecessor, then you'll actually start to find new tags and new stickies that you may have been missing. So the first time that you can really check to make sure that trades are installing per the plans and specs is legitimately the pull plan, because you're starting to reference the drawings. Number two, and this is one of my favorite ones, you will have what's called a pre-construction meeting, or a lot of people are familiar with pre-install or preparatory meeting. You will have that meeting 2 to 3 weeks before the first in place, meaning the first install for the crew. This is where you really want to get the information, okay? So the idea is you are sitting, I wouldn't stand in this meeting, you are sitting around the room with the superintendent and the PM for the GC. You've got the trade PM, super, and foreman, you've got maybe the owner, the inspector, you got the group there, right? And the idea is to take the relevant information from the plans, the relevant information from the specs, and any relevant information for the submittals or shop drawings, okay? And you'll want to discuss those in here, and this is, I hope you're sitting down for this, you will want to, on a very visual format, list down the most important aspects of the install, okay? So we usually call this an FOW, or feature of work. Visual, quality visual, quick card, check card, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't say that this is a checklist, because that's just a bunch of words. There's a wall of text. I'm talking about a little bit of text, but mostly pictures. A little bit of text, mostly pictures. And what I want this to be, oh, I hope you're sitting down for this. This is so good. Okay, is I want this to be, it's almost your agenda and it's your meeting minutes, okay? Because instead of writing down meeting minutes in some obscure location where nobody will reference it again, just write it down on this visual, and then it actually becomes a tool for the crews to install in the field. Now, if you, as a super or a PM or as an assistant in those roles, if you're like, hey, I really want to be able to QC well in the field, then do a good job getting this information into that meeting and out on that visual. And you will literally have a check card, a quick card, a visual, a guide that you can use out in the field to make sure sure the most important aspects are being installed. That then leads to number 3. When you actually start, and obviously you have your weekly work planning and look ahead planning in here, but that's not pertinent to this video. But when you start, the crew will go do, let's say that this is their first zone, right? Zone number 1, then this would be zone number 2, right? But their first zone, they've gone ahead and started to install a portion of the work. You're going to want to go out there and meet with the superintendent and the foreman and the workers, at least the foreman and the workers, the most important humans for the install. And you're going to want to meet with them and do what's called a first in place or first in place mock-up. And what you'll do, and yes, you guessed it, you'll use this guide right here to inspect the work, and you'll check it against that. And that's how you make sure that the crew is installing per the plans and the specs, and that you're jamming out and that you're ready to go. Now, let me assume that perhaps you don't have this set up. Totally fine. We don't blame people, it's not your fault. Maybe you're on a different job, different company culture. Maybe it just doesn't happen, okay? Let me give you just a little bit of guidance if you don't have all of this ready to go. As a builder, you've got 3 key habits out in the field. By the way, I don't recommend relying on this alone. I'm just giving you something that you can do if you don't have this infrastructure in place and you still want to check and make sure that the crew is doing what they're supposed to be doing. The 3 habits of a builder on a daily basis is to research the plans for 30 minutes, to be in the schedule for 30 minutes, and to do field walks every day. And I'll just go ahead and write 30 minutes. Like, really, these are the key habits. And if you don't have this infrastructure, this system, or these meetings set up, then here's what you do. You look at your schedule and you look at, hey, of all the activities that are happening, what are the next ones that are going to happen? Okay, today and the next couple of days. Okay, and so actually it would reorder to 1, then 2, then 3. Okay, I did this on purpose, by the way. I usually say be in your plans, be in your schedule, be in your walks. But if you're relying on this, you do it a different order. Get in your schedule first to know what it is that's coming up. Then when you go read the plans and you spend 30 minutes there, read the drawings and the specs yourself for the work coming up. And then when you go do the walk and you actually see it out in the field, you can literally look with those beautiful eyeballs of yours and make sure that the work is going in right. Have a conversation with the foreman, have a conversation with the crew. This is a little bit reactive, so I don't like it this way exactly. What I would rather happen is that when you're actually doing your production planning intact, that you have these handoffs identified, and that out in the field, if you're going to go, for instance, from zone 1 to 2, this first contractor, they want to move, you do what's called a zone control or handoff walk to make sure that this work is all done and that this is clear out ahead. I'd rather it happen that way, but if you don't have this in place, at least use your 3 daily habits of a builder to read the plans according to what work's coming up and then go out and inspect it in the field. It's pretty cool stuff. And then you can handle it in any way you want. So this is literally the answer, how you can make sure that the trades are installing per plans and specs, and then obviously inspect everything. Make sure that it's going in and become fanatical about quality. The best business practice, the best business model, right, is quality. The best service is quality. We really have to be good at that as leaders in the field. So I'm going to create a visual for you of this and turn it into a blog post and invite you to reach out to me if you need more information. We have visual boards about quality in this process, and it's in the book Elevating Pre-Construction Planning, which we will link you to as well, right in the middle of the book on how to manage this process. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.